Are you searching for the ultimate crocheted dishcloth pattern? One that is stretchy, super easy to make, and can be made in less than 1 hour? Then you want the twisted marriage stitch. Well, hello everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead. And today I'm not only going to teach you a brand new stitch, but I'm going to show you gift ideas that you can make for friends and family. If you are brand new to our channel, you know that I am a full-time 4th grade teacher, and my time is very, very limited. In fact, I have crocheted all 28 of these dishcloths in the last 2 weeks. That's right, I am able to do 2 a night after I work all day. So let's talk about the twisted marriage stitch. Each one of these dishcloths is going to be about 8.5 inches. It is also a thick pattern. And in my kitchen, I like to have some patterns that are thick, such as the twisted marriage, and some that are a little thinner, such as holy marriage. The twisted marriage stitch, I have never heard of that stitch, Deb. Well, that's because it's a variation of the crocheted marriage stitch. Here's a close-up view of the twisted marriage. It is thick and textured, stretchy as all get out. It holds its shape, and it's just one of those wonderful stitches. This is an excellent pattern for scarves, towels, pillows, and blankets. I urge you to stick around to the end of this video where I am going to share some of my ultimate gift-giving ideas. Let's get started. You're going to need 4 items. The first is yarn, and we will talk about the details in 1 second. Plus a pair of scissors, 2 crochet hooks. I'm using H and J, and a yarn needle. The most important item you're going to be using is, of course, your yarn. And what I recommend is to always use 100% cotton. We are using number 4, which is medium. And any type of color. I really like variegated, as you can probably tell by the background. But any color that you really love for your house. In the fall, I am often selling gift baskets. And so at this time of the year, people are requesting fall colors. The oranges, the greens, the browns. And even though there are different seasons that I'm selling things or giving gifts, there's also the basic colors that just everybody likes. You're going to want about 100 yards. That makes it a little bit easier to figure out which yarn you are buying. This one is sold in 120 yards. And this one, which is loops and threads, is only 95. But you know what? I have found that it is plenty to make a dishcloth. And let me tell you, buying yarn is tricky business. If somebody says it's not, don't believe a word they say. I was looking for some deep pumpkin colors, and my local store, which amounts to Walmart, simply didn't have a whole lot. I was able to get peaches and cream, but that was it. So I turned to Amazon. One of them that I was able to order was the Lion brand, which is a very good yarn. This one is 24/7. It's 100% cotton, and if you look at it, it's a size 4 medium. Wow. This is 100% cotton and a size 4 medium. But what I want to do is compare how these look side by side. Now, I'm not comparing the color at this point. I am comparing the thickness. Both of these are supposedly the same size. The one on the right is much, much thinner. And when I crocheted the exact same pattern, it came out smaller. But here is where I made a big error of judgment. I liked this color, and that is wonderful. It's the same size, it's the same length. Everything was exactly the same as these two, except for one item I missed. When you look up at the top, it says medium weight, 16 ply. Oh my goodness, what does that even mean? The first two that I showed you are 4 ply. That means there are 4 threads that are twisted together to make 1 strand of yarn. But this one is 16, and that means there are 16 itty bitty threads all put together, And when you try to crochet them, I guarantee you're going to drop one or two and have to slow way down. Yes, it's an amazing soft yarn, but it is a pain to use. Keep that in mind. All right, enough talking. Let's get to work. I am going to start with a J hook. That is also a 6.00 millimeter. To crochet this stitch, I'm going to want a fairly long tail. So I'm aiming for about 7 inches, and then I'm going to put in a slip knot. Since I'm right-handed, I hold the yarn with my thumb, wrap it around 2 fingers, cross in the back, and then take my hook, and I'm going to go under and over and put on that slip knot. Tighten it on up, and I'm ready to get going. Next, I crochet 33 chain stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep on going until you have 33. This is what 33 stitches looks like. And before I go to that first row, I am going to switch out my hooks. This one was a J. I'm not going to use a J again for this project. Instead, I'm switching to an H, which is a 5.00 millimeter. As you can see, my starting chain is pretty large. There's a lot of space there. That's because I am going to turn it over, and I am going to put my first row in those bumps on the back of that chain. So same thing, I'm going to go to that first bump, not the one way up here that's connected, but the very first full one. And I am going to put a single crochet in. I didn't like to do this at first because it slowed me down. And I don't like to be slowed down. I like to get my projects done because I don't have a lot of time. But what I discovered is I really like the appearance of having this chain on the bottom of my dishcloth, and then when I finish it, it matches the top of it as well. So you're going to go through and you're going to put single crochet in each one of these bumps. If you can't see it, kind of turn it over and twist it around a little. I turn my hook when I go in so that I am just kind of grabbing it and then doing my single crochet. You may notice that I do not go over my hook when I do single crochet. I actually go under. So I will grab this next one. That's what I said, slows me down. I'm going to go under my hook and grab it and under. That is how I do my single crochet, and it is fine. Here's a close-up that shows you exactly what your starting chain looks like if you crochet with the bumps on the back of the stitch. This is my full first row. There are 32 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. At the end of that row, I am going to chain 1 and turn. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is a variation of the marriage stitch, and it is worked in clusters. So I'm going to look for that very first stitch, and I'm going to insert my hook and do a slip stitch. That's going to lead me into yarn over, go into that same hole, and I'm going to do a half double crochet, and I'll end with 1 chain. Now I'm going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and repeat that cluster of slip stitch, half double, and chain. And you're going to continue this going across. You're going to skip 2 and put a cluster, skip 2 and put a cluster. Go until there are 4 stitches left at the end of your chain. If I get to the end of this row and I have 4 stitches left, I know I've done it correctly. So I'm going to continue with the next cluster. 1, 2, we skip those. Then it's a slip stitch. And we go right into the half double and a chain. Now this is what is different. There's 1 stitch left. Put in 1 half double crochet. Then chain and turn. This is the row that starts the twisted marriage stitch. You're going to start just the same as you did the other row, where you count 2 stitches and you're going to put it in the 3rd stitch. So let's start with a slip stitch. We're still doing a cluster, but this time when we yarn over, we're going to actually reach down and grab that loop below. You can see that loop. So yarn over, grab the loop by twisting your hook, then pull it up, pull through, and chain. All right, let's do it again. So skip 2 stitches, go in the third, do a slip stitch, yarn over, grab that loop in the stitch or in the row below, pull it through, and chain. I wanted to zoom in so you could really get a good view of how to do this stitch. First off, you're going to skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and you're going to go into that third one right there. That starts with a slip stitch. From there, you're going to do the half double, but you're going to twist your hook. I mean twist as in turn your hook. And you're looking for these loops. They are all along the front and they stick out. So you're going to loop it around that like that. Then grab that yarn and you have 3 loops. Pull it through just like you would for a half double. It is a half double. And then chain 1. All right, and that's what the stitch looks like. All right, let me show you another one. So you skip 2, 1, 2, go into the third one, and you're going to do a slip stitch, then yarn over, and this is the loop right here that sticks up. Twist your hook around it, then I'm going to yarn under, you might yarn over, pull it through all 3 loops, and then do a chain stitch. That's how it looks. I am almost finished with this row. I'm going to go to the next stitch, put in a slip stitch, put in a half double, twist it around that loop, and then a chain. Now I still have 1 stitch here left that is in that chain that we put. You're just going to put a half double stitch. Go through all of it. Chain 1 and turn. If you've watched many of my videos, you will know that I despise counting rows, so I don't. Instead, I measure from the beginning point to the end of that first row. I know that this is going to be 8.5 inches, so I will continue crocheting back and forth until I reach 8.5 inches. And here is the finished dishcloth. What I have is 8.5 inches this way, and just under 8.5 inches to the top. So now I'm going to show you how to finish off that edge. This is the top of my dishcloth, and I need to put an even border on it using single crochet. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use every stitch that is available because then it would be too bulky. So I'm going to go the first stitch, I'm going to skip, and I'm going to go to the second stitch and put a single crochet. Now the next one, I'm going to go down and twist my hook around the loop, then go through the 2 loops on the top edge and put another single crochet. So I have 2 stitches. Now skip the small one, put a single crochet, then go down, catch the loop, go through the 2 top pieces, and put a single crochet. And that's the pattern you're going to keep doing across. By crocheting single crochet across the top and skipping 1 out of 3 stitches, you end up with a border that matches the bottom. Once again, I'm going to cut about a 7-inch tail so that I have enough to weave in. I've learned this little trick. First, you're going to take the end and stick it through the loop, pull it a little bit through there, and then bring it out over here. Hard to do one-handed. There we go. And then all you need to do is tighten it up, and that will hold it secure without having a big old knot right there. There we go. To weave in those ends, you're going to want a yarn needle. That means it has a very large eye on one side and a dull point on the other. It's not sharp at all. I like to use a little piece of paper, fold it in half, and notice it's not the same length. One side is easier to open that way. So then I'm going to take my yarn, put it on top, fold it shut, and put it through the eye of the needle, just like that. And I have threaded my needle. I'm not going to show you step by step how I do weave in my ends, but basically I start on one side, get the needle in there, And I start going in one direction, so I might be going this way, but I'm going to continue turning and going in different directions. So yes, I started this way, but now I'm going to turn it and go back this way. And there we go. That is the twisted marriage stitch. Isn't it beautiful? I like those colors too. The only thing left to do is to cut out each of these labels, and then I wrap it around it and I put on a smaller label telling the size and the stitch. And before I go today, I promised that I would show you some gift giving ideas. Nearly every dishcloth that I sell or I give as a gift, I pair with a coffee mug. I am constantly asked where I buy my mugs. Well, here's the secret. Every single one of these mugs came from Goodwill. Not only that, but it came on a Sunday when the color of the week was $1. Each one of these gifts cost me roughly $2.50. And what I will sell them for is at least twice that in my farm stand. But what you also have to understand is time is money. And if it's taking me an hour to crochet this and I'm charging $5, I've only charged $2.50 for my work for an hour. So I said at least $5. I will most likely start them at $10. And I'll be honest with you, there are people that come to my farm stand and they buy one of these and they say, oh my goodness, Deb, this is a steal. To get a hand crocheted dishcloth and a high-end mug, which they all are, they are willing to pay at least $10. And then you have the others who think that $1 is too much for this. I also sell some $20 baskets. When we look at this, they're also getting the hand crocheted item. We're putting in some soap, some little gifts. The baskets also come from the Goodwill. So they are purchased on Sundays for $1. I have spent no more than $10 on these gifts, and I sell them for at least $20. I'm going to be starting my winter basket soon. I love when I can find snowmen because snowmen to me don't just represent Christmas. I think they represent cold weather. Anytime I can find a basket that looks like fall weather, I go with those. Some of those have leaves. This one has a scrubby, some coasters, and then of course a dishcloth. I often pair soap with dishcloths, which makes sense. And then this little rack I found for $1, and I'm like, I'm not sure what I can put on it. And I found out it fits a towel and a dishcloth perfect. If you are local, I will be putting those gift baskets and all of these dishcloths out into my farm stand this week. And if you enjoyed this video on how to crochet the twisted marriage stitch, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye. And for those of you who have ever become tongue-tied, here's one of the bloopers from this video. To crochet, to crochet.